welcome to Crochet Moments. This is episode 51 and I'd like to say hello to all my new subscribers. I've neglected saying welcome the last couple of episodes for some reason. I'm almost on 250 subscribers, which I know isn't a big number, but it's 250 more yarny friends. And also welcome back to long-time subscribers. I know there are a few of you who have stuck with me from the very first episode, so hello and welcome. How are you all? It's been a little while since I spoke to you properly, with various events going on, namely the Queen's passing. So we've had the funeral, we've seen all of that, all the pomp and ceremony. And so the girls are back at school now as well, which means inevitably Catherine's been neglecting her knitting. So I don't have any Catherine's knitting to show today. So I've been fairly busy. I haven't had as much time to craft as I would like, with work and brownies and all the other things that I get up to. So I do have some things to show. I've worked on a few things, but I haven't made huge progress on lots of things. So let's talk about my finished object first. So I do have a finished object. Now, I recall... Oh, there's a pattern. I just noticed where I've put the pattern. I recall that an episode or two ago, when I was showing off all those beautiful vintage patterns, that Emily wasn't even a doll player. So I couldn't even make these things for her doll. Now, she started playing with her doll. So I dug out a pattern, not the really fancy fine stuff, because I don't have the right yarn for that. Because it's going to be played with by Emily, I want to use acrylic. So I made her something and I started making something else and she stopped playing with her doll. So I'm just going to go back to my other projects in the mornings that I've been working on in the mornings instead. So let me show you. Now this isn't properly finished because I haven't sewn the ends in and Emily just wanted to get on and play. And it doesn't have any buttons on it yet either. I need to dig some buttons out. So excuse all of the ends hanging off, but here is my finished object. Now this is just a basic garter stitch with some really basic lace detail on the front. That side went perfectly. This side, something went a little bit wrong. I don't know what. But yeah, so I'll just get the pattern to show you. So here's the pattern. It is, I strongly suspect, a pattern from the 80s. Katherine quite enjoys looking through my knitting patterns and she picked this one out she wanted me to make. Now, the doll isn't a baby-sized doll. It is quite a small doll, and measuring it up, this is, well, even putting it on once it's done, it was too big. I tried my best, so it is shorter than the pattern suggests I knit it to for the smallest size. I also shortened the arms, but because of the stitch pattern I couldn't do anything with the size, so it's massive on the doll. So any plans I might have had for knitting baby items for Emily's baby doll have gone out the window. It's not going to work. I do have some specific dolls knitting patterns. I have started knitting a little dress for her dolly, and that is when she stopped playing with Dolly. So I'm going to finish the dress that I'm working on, go back, that will be my 30 minutes of knitting, and then I will dig out one of my other projects to work on for 30 minutes a day, because it's not like I have a shortage of projects to work on. So as I am discussing dolly dresses, let's get this. Disaster, I've just pulled stitches off a needle. I think I've rescued that. Right, so this is the pattern underneath my current WIP. So I am making the, no, not that one, the pink dress. So I will be making the dress and the shoes. I won't be making the headband because it's the same stitch as the waistband, and I found that a nightmare to do. This is a pattern book. I've got a few of these from my mum's stash. I have made a few of these before, back when I was learning to knit, because my mum suggested, and it's actually quite a good idea, if you want to learn the basics of garment making, start out small. So dolls' clothes, babies' clothes, and that's what I did. So a lot of the basic knowledge that I have now, that I'm using for improving my projects, the things that I make, it comes from working through these books. I have made a few things, so there's some beautiful things in here. I mean, I love that one on the back. Is it this one that's got the really, no, this isn't the one. There's a beautiful set, the dolly on a swing. This, but it's not in this book. It's in a book upstairs. So yeah, I think these probably date from the 90s. These pattern books, maybe a little bit earlier. But you can still buy a lot of these pattern books. I don't know if they're particularly under the Wendy brand, and I think I've got, what are the other brands I've got? I can't remember now, but yeah. So I've got these, and you may be able to find them around if you have children that play with dollies. So here is what I have so far. Oh, it's getting in a tangle. So now there was a dropped stitch there, which I managed to stop it laddering, but I still ended up with a hole, so I'm just going to have to stitch that up. So there's the front. So I've cast off, I've decided, so I've done the first back, I'm just working on the other back, and then I'll be doing the sleeves before starting to stitch things together and make the neckband. Now I've got all these bubbles. Now I hate making bubbles in crochet, but these actually weren't too tricky to do. They just were time consuming because it was over 100 plus stitches, and there's going to be a picot edging, so there's the eyelets for the picot, so I'll be just folding it over like that, so it will have that sort of edging. So that should be done by the end of next week. Like I said, it's 30 minutes of knitting every morning, and I'll be working on that. Now, one project I have been neglecting, I have done some, I haven't brought it down to show you though, is my Perseverance and my half side cals, mystery knit along and mystery crochet along. I do need to work on it. I do need to work on it. But at the moment I'm sort of really focused on a couple of projects that I want to get done first, so I may have to keep that on pause for a little bit. So yes, let's put everything to one side so I can put it away nice and easy. So what else shall I show you? One thing I did want to show you is I've picked my cross stitch back up. Now I don't know what went on with the camera there. So I used to mainly cross stitch, and I do watch one floss tube on YouTube, just one. I allow myself one, and it's been making me feel the urge to stitch again. Not fully, as in it's not going to be my main craft. My main crafts will still be knitting and crochet, but I just wanted to start putting a few stitches in, and I've got a WIP that I've had going for a few years now, quite a few years, So I thought, well, I shall just start working on things, just doing a day here and there whenever I feel like stitching. So it's usually I'll have a session. So my current knit session has been 7 days. So my 8th day will be a cross stitch day before I move on to my crochet project. So I will show you what I'm currently working on, and I have an old finished project as well that I can show you. Now I love this, it's so much fun to stitch on. And so the patterns that I'm showing you today are from a design company called Heaven and Earth Designs. They do full coverage patterns. And they are ginormous. Really, really large. So I mean, this particular pattern is 20 pages of A4. So here is what the finished, so all my doodles. So I didn't actually write down the date I started on this one. I normally on the front page would write when I started it, but I didn't on this one. Oh, there's my spare needle, I was looking for that. So this is Amulet and Emmeline. I don't know if this is still available on her website to you can do them as downloads or paper versions. She's US based, so if you are US based and cross stitch and like these, you've probably come across Heaven and Earth Designs already. But let's take this off my hoop. So here is my piece so far. So I finished this page of stitching, and this is probably, I think it's 3 days worth of stitching just in this section here, although one of those days was on the bank holiday Monday of the funeral, so we were sat in front of the TV all day watching everything, so that's why there's so much there. But yeah, I just love the detail, and there's no back stitching because I hate back stitching. I generally sew these on 25 count fabric. Don't ask me what kind of fabric because I don't know. This is looking a bit mucky and needs a good wash because I haven't washed it yet and I need to get it framed. So this is a previous finished object. This took me, I would say, because I did it with a few other WIPs in between, a couple of years worth of stitching. I love him so much, and I really, really want to get him framed because it is coming up to Christmas, but they're not cheap to frame. And because of how much work went into them, I wouldn't want to try and frame it myself and risk ruining all my hard work. So let's just pop all that away. So yeah, so I've been just, like I said, I'll do an evening's cross stitch here and there. Not a lot, just enough to keep the urge to stitch at bay. Oh, I just meant to say I'm wearing my cardigan properly now. It's not that cold today though. It's according to our, I won't say the name, but we have a screen for the Amazon device, and it's saying it's only 12 degrees today. So that's at 9:15 in the morning. But it has been cool enough to need to put my cardigan on. I still haven't put the button on. I finally found a button. It is all the way over there, so I won't get it out. It took me ages to find a button that I liked, that went with the colour, with the style, so I can finally get the button on and have it closed. At the moment it's being held closed by a giant safety pin. Okay, so my next project, let's do do my Cozy Memories blanket. Let's get my knit WIPs out of the way first, and then I'll show you my crochet projects. Now I have had time to put a few stitches in this. Now I had a very productive day a couple of weeks ago where I went through all of my minis and balled them up. All my 10 gram minis are all balled up and they're in there. So the base of these minis was, and still is, the blanket ball set that you can get from Attic Spin Die. So you get, I think it's 10 minis, 10 gram minis for £16. This is one of them. Now, Andy's yarn is beautiful yarn, even in mini form. They're beautiful colours. I've also got some of my Cuddlebums minis in here that I bought from the Wool Monty to add a little bit of extra colour. But mostly in here is Attic Spin Die minis. So obviously you get minis with the larger orders and the subscriptions. There's usually a mini in there. I'm getting a little bit of a collection of them and I keep dropping my mini. This is another one. I love this one. It's one of my favourites. So, right, well there's the right side. So here I am. So I've squared it off. Well, it's not a proper square yet. I need to add another row here. And then the intention is to just keep going round and round and round and round until it's big enough. I will be adding minis to it. I have a humongous box of 20 gram minis upstairs, which I will start to use possibly for these. But, you know, scraps, sock scraps. I just love this pattern. This is the Cosiest Memories Blanket by Kemper Wray. It is a free pattern available on Ravelry. I'm sure if you just Google it. I do link, if any patterns that I use are available as a link, I do link them in the description box. So if you do see anything that you like, I also link places I buy things, so I'll make sure to put a link that will take you straight to the blanket squares as well, because they are lovely. And it's just great. So most of these, like I said, are Attic Spin Die. That one, these two are Cuddlebums, but pretty much I would say the rest of this is Attic Spin Die. So, and I just love the colours, and I'm not being picky with the colours. I'm just hand in the bag, pull one out. I'm not trying to make them go matchy matchy. This is just going to be one of those projects to sit under on a cool winter's evening and put a few squares in. A square takes about an hour. It's not a lot of work, and so I like that. Okay, so that's that one out the way. Next knit project is this one, the one I'm currently working on now. I have so many knit projects in my WIP wheel that I have decided that for now, until I've got that down, whenever I hit a knit cycle, I'm going to concentrate on that one project until it's done. And this is the project. There goes a bead. That was the bead I lost earlier. I couldn't be bothered to try and find it. So I am knitting with beads as well, which is a new one on me. So the pattern, before I show you my project, I'm just trying to move some of these bits out of the way, is, let's pop that in so I don't lose my place, is out of the second Harry Potter knitting book. There are so many patterns in here that I want to make, as evidenced by all of these post-it notes. The one I'm currently making is a Christmas tree skirt, Christmas at Hogwarts tree skirt, and it's designed by Susanna Ick. It's full of cables, lace and beads. Now you've got these lovely lacy Christmas trees here, surrounded by some very complicated cable. And I'm not impressed with how way the cable is. I'm little concerned there's a mistake on the chart, but I'm going to persevere and see if it looks better as I move along. And so you've got this lovely just cable twist there. It goes through, and then some owls at the top. And there's, you can't see in this picture, but there are silver beads and green beads. And it's hard work at the moment, because I don't know what my current stitch count is, but you cast on 446 stitches, and then you had to work 8 rows of rib, 2x2 rib, on 446 stitches. 446 stitches. Now I have started to decrease those. Every 5th row is a decrease row. So I always look forward to that 5th row. I'm only 10 rows in, 11 rows. I can't remember now. But yes, I'm only 10% done on the cable section of the tree skirt. And then there's a bit more rib at the top. But at the top, I think I'm only going to be down to something in the region of 60 stitches, which I can live with. So the schematics actually show it as being, it's got a total width from its widest point to its widest point of 132 centimetres. So that's the schematic. There's the trees a little bit more up close. So yeah, I'm having fun with this. I had to buy some crochet hooks for this, because I know somewhere I have got teeny tiny hooks, but I can't find them. I've looked everywhere. So I had to Amazon Prime it, because I wanted to get on with it. And I had to buy a set of lace making hooks. So, you know, watch this space. I might have a go at doing some lace now I have the hooks. So this is, I don't know why I'm going to be showing this, because I can barely see the hook on the end of here. This is a 0.5mm hook. You can just barely see the hook. And I needed that for these. My smallest hook that I could find was a 2mm. That wouldn't even go through. And I went down the sizes from 1mm to try. So I don't know what the internal hole is. I managed to get a 0.8 to go through, but it wouldn't pull the yarn through. So the problem with such a tiny hook, I'm knitting on this rather thick Aran. So if you look, this is an Aran yarn. So I'm using, it's quite a thick. So on its own, it would be hard to pull the yarn. But then I have to pull it through one of those teeny tiny hooks, beads, and it splits the yarn like nobody's business, and it takes some blooming brute force to pull it through. So I'm going to attempt to show you my progress on this. Oh, see, it's just massive. It just goes on and on and on and on. So this is the extent. So I think I've taken, so I've just done my 3rd decrease. Is it my 3rd decrease row? Yes, I've just entered, yeah, my 3rd decrease row. So I've taken off 2 stitches times 6 is 12. 20. So I've taken 36 stitches off so far. Have I? Or am I going completely bonkers? I'm going completely bonkers. Anyway, we don't need to try and test my maths on a Friday morning. So here is, this is, I'm just trying to stretch one panel without pushing the other end off. To try and show you, this is been so hard to try and just even to look for my own peace of mind. So here is a tree. Now this is going to need blocking because of the lace. There's a tree, as you can see. I've got my beads. This is the area I'm not happy with. Now I'm going to persevere with it. I've double checked what I'm doing with what is on the chart, and it's I'm definitely following the right instructions, but it's just that in the book these cables, that there's this purling here, not this side isn't there. It's a smoother transition, and I don't know if I've done something wrong or if it's just, it will work itself out in the end. Either way, I'm not ripping back. I'm trying again. I've read the pattern. Well, it's just a chart, so the cable it's not a written pattern, and I am fairly new to knitting from a chart, so there is that worry. Am I reading the chart right? I think I am. I've written down all of the symbols because the chart goes that way and the list of symbols goes that way, so I've written them out and I've double checked that I've written them out correctly. I've triple checked even with the particular instruction that so it's a 212 LPC is the label for that particular stitch, but I just don't know. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. I have had moments where I've lost track on the trees as well, so some of the trees aren't going to look very Christmas tree. Overall, I am enjoying this. So the green yarn is the leftover Aldi Aran that I had from my other Harry Potter jumper that I knitted. The cream is actually an unlabelled cream that I had in my mum's stash, so I am using it. So there's these trees. I mean, the trees do look great, and I can't wait to get us to as high as the owls, not least because each repeat will be about 40-50 stitches instead of 70-80. And I'm really enjoying it. It's obviously, I've never knit with beads before, so that's something, and the cables are quite intricate, and I'm fairly new to knitting from a chart, so lots of new things in one pattern. It's making me nervous, but I'm determined it's going to be done in time for Christmas. So every time I have it's time for me to knit, I'm going to just spin for how many days I'm going to work on it. It will get faster. At the moment, one row takes an hour. So if I want to sit down and do a row of knitting, I have to make sure that I've got an hour to spare. But as those decreases start piling in a little bit faster, each repeat will go a lot faster. I'm already getting into a good motion with it. So yeah. Right, so yeah, that's all of my knitting I've been working on. Let's show you some crochet now. So I have put a couple of rows. There's not lots of progress on this, but I will show it you anyway. This is the Abigail dress, which is designed by, this is one of those ones I can never remember the name, and I don't think I can pronounce the name. Is this one of those ones? To find her name. Oh, it's Crystal Riley Watts. So this is what I'm aiming for. I'm making this for Katherine, and here it is. So I've just started to put the points in for the skirt, and they're supposed to be, I could have sworn there were supposed to be stitch markers in this. To help me know whether I'm doing my points. So yeah. Anyway, so yes, I am enjoying this still. although it is taking longer and longer now as obviously I'm on the skirt, so it's lots of increases still. It's going to get longer and longer, which means it would, but with crochet, long rows doesn't matter. You can stop in the middle of a row. You don't have to keep going. And the yarn I'm using is Yarn Art Flowers. So I've got 2 cakes. I'm alternating each row so that I can keep the colour, graduated colour changes flow. This is Flowers, it's colour 276. They're not given names. It is 100% cotton, I believe. Where's the... Oh no, it's not. It's 55% cotton and 45% PAC? PAC? I love this yarn so much. It's very similar to the Sheepy's Whirls, but it's like half the price. So, I love a good bargain. So I will be making 2 of these dresses, one for Emily. I had to buy 2 cakes for her, even though I will only need a little bit of the second cake. So what I'll be doing there is I probably do every 4th row in the second cake, because the pattern doesn't give you exact amounts. It basically says, even stitch counts, it's like you chain, or you do foundation chain for long enough to go around the neck and go from there. And she gives you little hints and how to, like on this puff stitch round, she gave you sort of what to do if you didn't have the right amount of stitches at the end to finish the round properly. So one thing that does concern me is my joins and chains. I'm going down in a diagonal. Now that's not happening with the other one. I'm doing something else that's worked in the round, and that isn't happening. So I don't know what I'm doing differently, other than the fact that that one is turned round and this one is just round and round and round. Anyway, there it is, in all its glory. So this, yes, this is the colour that Emily chose anyway. She likes this. This one is colour 265. So I just went to the website. Which website did I buy them from? It will be linked below, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yes, it's just beautiful yarn. Beautiful. And I will be buying more as and when I need to make something with yarn that gradually changes colour. So there's that crochet project. So this is my last WIP to show you, and then I've got some incoming. So let's get the pattern up. Now this is some incoming that I've been meaning to talk to you about for a couple of episodes. Now somebody, I can't remember who, told me about Readly app. It's Readly, and there are hundreds of magazines and newspapers. Now I do read I have other interests other than knitting and crochet, so I used to subscribe to the BBC History magazine, but because I wasn't always getting time to read them, so I cancelled the subscription, but I still occasionally liked reading them. So I have access to that now, but I also have access to lots and lots of knitting and crochet apps, magazines. Now this isn't the full range. This is some of them. There are multiple languages, so if you are bilingual, you'll have access to more than me, who can only read in English. So let's get the pattern up. So the pattern that I'm making is in the most recent issue of Simply Crochet. It is issue number, where's the issue number on there? 127, so it's this one. So it is a top for Emily. The minute she saw it, she was like, "Mummy, can you make that for me?" And I said, okay. Now it's a Halloween jumper, so again, I need to focus on this project to get it done in time for Halloween, and it will be done. I've got a sleeve and some ribbing to do. But, oh, and the ghosts. So this, spookily cute. It's gorgeous. It is designed by Jess Bennett, and Emily didn't like the green and grey, although I don't think I had any green anyway in DK. And this is one of the this is one of the few patterns in Simply Crochet that actually uses affordable yarn. And Simply Crochet there's always beautiful patterns in here, always, that's without a doubt, but a lot of the yarn recommended is pricey yarn, so you spend ages trying to work out which yarn you can afford to use, because quite frankly, who has £100 to spend on a sweater, to make a sweater? Not me. Yes, I spend lots of money on yarn, but I am cutting back. I'm on a yarn diet. I will be going to a yarn show next month in a few weeks. I'm going to Bakewell Yarn Gathering again because I had such a lovely time, and Bakewell's such a beautiful town to visit. But yeah, so all I have to do, well, Emily chose the colours. Let's get it out. And actually, one of the colours I'm glad she picked, because it's been in my stash for years and I haven't had a clue what to make with it. And I'm kind of glad she picked it because it looks really good. So, here it is. So which is the front? This is the front. So as you can see, I have the first sleeve done. I've done the cuff to the sleeve. I'm on the neck ribbing now, and then I'll be doing the ribbing on the bottom and the other sleeve, which is going to be all in blue. And I love it. We've been trying it on as we go to make sure that it fits, because I was worried. I did go up a hook size because I have made something from Simply Crochet before and it ended up tiny, and then it got shrunk. So it was Catherine's jumper. It was small on her then, but then it got shrunk in the wash. So now Emily wears it. That's the one with the stars on the yoke. But I love this. So this is a yarn I bought from Aldi many years ago, and I've mislaid my yarn band for it. We did have a bit of a tidy up yesterday, so maybe it ended up in the recycling. But this is so old. I haven't seen it in Aldi's yarn updates since I bought it, and when I bought it, it was on sale. I think it was reduced to like £2 for 400 grams of yarn. So I bought a couple of bags of it, and I've still got, even after I've finished this, I've still got 2 or 3 balls to use up. So, but yeah, I really like the way that it's pooling. I am considering making the ghost appliques removable so that she can wear it outside of Halloween. I haven't thought how I'm going to make that work. Maybe I could use poppers and make some other appliques for different times of the year, because this is almost a wintry colour. So maybe I could make some snowflakes to go on there as well, while I've got the white yarn out. So that's a thought that I'm having. That's in my thought process. So that's that. So yes, so these are the yarns I'm using. They're both Aldi yarns. This is Aldi, and it's just blue. Just blue. And then this one, I think it's called Frost. they had a couple of different colours. There was one that was all reds and oranges, which I think was called Fire, Frost and Fire. So yes, I don't know if yes, I just need to use a little bit of that for the ribbing on the cuff of the blue sleeve. So that is that pattern. So yeah, so this Readly app is amazing. Absolutely love it. And I bought myself a Fire tablet just for the purpose of reading magazines on. So the battery on it, because I'm only using it to flick through a magazine, the battery's life lasts for ages. And I have put this in a bag which I found while I was having a sort out. It is Fly Lanka Air, and it was given to me by Andy of Attic Spin Die, because he used to have Discworld themed yarns and then he was told to take them off, which I was very disappointed about because his yarns are beautiful. He did rename them, but I think they're the fantasy range now. I can't remember. They're beautiful yarns, especially the dark bidding. You'll have seen that because I made socks out of that. So now I'm on to my incoming and forthcoming plans. So I'll start my forthcoming plans first. I'm trying to not use too much. I'm running out of space on the card, I think. So I have seen a number of YouTubers making the Garter Abyss Shawl by Stephen West. Now, I really want to make that, but I don't want to have to buy yarn because I have got lots of skeins of sock yarn that I thought, well, I must be able to put something together. So it is a fade. It's a 5 skein fade, so it's going to be ginormous when it's done. And I won't be starting it yet. I've got other projects to get out of the way first. But I just went through my stash. So these colours may change depending on what comes through on future subscriptions. But let's try and remember the order I put these in. I thought that for a fade. So this one being the lightest, going through to this really dark blue purpley colour. Now, I'm not the greatest at putting colours together, so I am after your advice. Is this a fade that you would put together? Is this something you would put together? There's no really good, easy way to show this in order without causing an avalanche. So I'm not 100% sure about this one and this one. But they're all of the same family and they do sort of progress in darkness, which is kind of what you're looking for in a fade. So if you have any thoughts about this fade or any suggestions what I could do, if there is one there that you feel really doesn't go, please, I won't be offended if you want to tell me that, because I'm not 100% sure. But that's a future plan. Simon's taking a call. So we're both on annual leave today. I've had all week off annual leave to try and get caught up on some of the housework around that has built up over the summer holidays, which is why a week of knitting wasn't in. I wanted to spend all week knitting, so I'm just going to grab my incoming stuff. Okay, so this is definitely not a bag of yarn. I lied, it is a bag of yarn. This is my new project bag or shopping bag, I don't know. I'm almost definitely going to be taking it with me shopping to the Bakewell yarn gathering, because I can't not, because it will end up, it won't be a full bag because my available spending money isn't what it has been, but it will definitely have some yarn in it. This is a bag from Andy of Attic Spin Dye. He has started doing bags and it is really nicely, it's a really good quality bag, and he prints these great, there's a whole load of different designs, so I will link his shop below if you want to go and have a look. They're fairly inexpensive. I think this one cost less than, was it £10? Less than £10? I can't remember. Let's go to your shop, Andy, and have a look. I need to go to Andy's shop because the Christmas Eve boxes are available for pre-order, and I think the next chapter of Alice in Wonderland is also available to order, and I need to get that ordered. Da-dum. See, that didn't take long at all, did it, to get through to that? Because I'm in Andy's shops all the time. No, I don't want the Etsy app. I should get the Etsy app at some time. Bags, will it be bags and stuff? So £12 this one. But there they are. So there's all sorts. It's a beautiful. I love this tie-dye one. Yarn stash. So yeah, definitely they're just cotton tote bags that have been jazzed up with yarn related messages. So in here I have some yarn. I have some yarn around my feet as well. So Aldi have got their yarn update. Now I was very restrained because funds are low at the moment. Paydays until next week, and I wanted to get in before all of the colours were gone and I was left with the colours I didn't want. So I just bought 3 bags because all my bright colours I'm being used up. I've got lots of greys and blacks and dark colours, but nothing like this beautiful burnt orange. This is lovely. I do, like I said, I've said it lots of times before, I like the Aldi yarn. I think they have changed the maker. It's not as soft as it used to be. It's still good quality for what you pay. I mean, it's £1 a ball. I think is it $4.99, $5.99 now? Just for 400 grams of a fairly decent quality acrylic. So I've gone for burnt orange, dusky pink, and deep lake. I want to make myself something else for this one. They had some beautiful colours in the Aran yarn, which I may see if they still have when I go shopping next weekend. Just because, like I said, paydays until next week, and I do have savings account. I have a savings account specifically for yarn and stuff. I call it my craft account. So that came out of some of my craft account money. Not wanting to dip into too much because bake well. So then we've got the really nice stuff. So my flower yarn subscription arrived from Orchidine Luxury Yarns. Yes, was it yesterday arrived or the day before? Wednesday. I remember because I was upstairs in the middle of something and the doorbell went. I was like, oh, who's that? So it was a little bit late apparently. It says sorry it's late. I haven't noticed. I get this every 2 months and always get 1 stitch marker, but this time I got 2, and I don't know if that was because she's late. Now I know she is taking a break from her regular dyeing, and I don't know if she's currently taking new subscriptions for her clubs because she's a lot going on at home and personal life, and like all of us, things get in the way. So she's stepping back a little bit, I think. I hope not for good, because too much, because her yarns are beautiful. And this is this month. This one is Blackberry Crumble, and it is beautiful. That's just crying out to be a hat or a cowl, or I don't know. Lots of things that I never have time to make. I have to find storage space for all this yarn. It's scary how much yarn I have. Okay, so now, tissue paper, crinkle, crinkle. We've got in here, more tissue paper. There's another mini to add to my bag. I love that blue. That blue is amazing. And stitch marker. Got so many little bits in here. I need to do something with it all. Okay, so I'm also getting a lovely collection of little lavender bags. So I might put a few in when I send parcels out of yarn. Okay, so first let's start with the very last bird of the month. Look, this one is Kingfisher. Look at that. Oh, I can't wait to knit something with that. I need to pick up speed on my going out and about socks. Try and get more socks through and just knit lots and lots and lots of plain vanilla socks. Oh, look how beautiful that yarn is. And I love how woolly it smells. I love the smell of hand-dyed yarn. It always smells so good. And then this is chapter, what chapter are we on? This one is chapter 8 of the Alice in Wonderland. I know chapter 9 is on order. I know I've ordered chapter 9. So have I ordered? Oh, I lose track. I'm going to have to go through my Etsy orders and have a look at my order history. So you always get a little card with a little section of the book and a relevant stitch marker. So this section is chapter 8, the Queen's Croquet Ground, and we've got a rose because obviously the Queen of Hearts liked her roses. They were painting the roses red because they planted white ones. And here is the Queen of Hearts. How pretty is that? Absolutely adorable, lovely, beautiful yarn. Absolutely beautiful. I just love all of the yarn. All of the yarn is... Now also something which I ordered a kit. So Andy's first collaboration, I believe, with a designer, where's my phone, is the True Colours. It's a shawl. It is designed by Louise Skelding of Lulabella Knits, and there it is. There's the pattern. So you get the pattern. So for the pattern you get sent the Ravelry code to download it free. It's and he's got a number of different colourways. Let me go into his shop so you can see his colourways. Kits. Ooh. Is it there? No, that's the wrong one. I'm looking in the wrong place. Let's just search True Colours. Okay, so there's that colourway. Oh, I love that colourway. This is the colourway I got, and it's a beautiful yellow and grey one, and there's even a Halloween one which I absolutely love. Very tempted by the Halloween one, but I haven't even started this one yet. So it is a kit. I'm going to sneeze. Oh dear, excuse me. So this is the bright colourway for the True Colours kit. I've got this beautiful little stitch mark of a little sunny hat, and I love these colours so much. I can't wait to start the shawl. I do need to get one of my shawls off my needles. I say one of my shawls, I've only got one other shawl on the needles, I think. But maybe when I've finished the one that I'm using my Christmas yarn for, I might start this one. Get this caked up. So yeah, I can't wait to start this. It's such a beautiful design, and it's a fairly simple one. I would definitely say it's beginner friendly. So if you wanted to have a go, you don't have to use Andy's colours, but so the pattern is available on Ravelry to buy on its own if you have colours you want to use. But yes, so that is really showing everything. I think that's everything. So I don't know what me and Simon are up to for the rest of the day. Maybe go out for a coffee without the children. That might be an idea. It's always good to do things without the children when you don't do anything without the children. So I'm going to tidy up this mess, and then I think I might have to get myself another drink because I'm quite thirsty now, all this talking. So yes, I will see you again in a couple of weeks, and hopefully I'll have another finished object or two to be able to show you and be able to get on with some new things finally. So I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.